Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me? Hello?
Yeah, madam.
Okay, thank you. At the moment, there are 12, including me, right? Yes, can you all switch on your videos, video cameras, please, for a while? Just to see your faces and just to come to know each other. Okay, I can see Jayakala. Hi, Sashi. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, babe, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Yes, Fatima, and then there's a number. Who's that? Azna, Kaushalya, Nimasha. Are you with us? Right. Jayakala, where do you teach?
I am teaching at St. Anthony's Tamil Mahavidyalaya, Colombo 14, madam.
Colombo 14. Okay, thank you. Then 130068. What's your name? Yes? Yes? Now I can see you all. Yes? What's your name? 130068. Can't hear. I think your speaker doesn't work.
Sorry, ma'am. My name is Chamodi Lakshani.
Chamodi, you are teaching in a government school?
Yeah, ma'am.
Where?
Kotikawatta Rajasingha.
Now we have 14. Okay, Azna? Azna? Speaker.
Yes,
All right.
madam.
Yes, Asna. Where do you teach?
I teach at Badula Dharma Dutta College, madam.
Badulla.
Yes,
Right,
madam.
Sashi?
Hi, babe. I'm teaching in Cambridge High School, Abu Dhabi.
Right. Good. Then Yoganati? Yogananti, right?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I'm from Matale. I'm
Uh-huh.
from Matale. I'm teaching government school.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. How
Thank
about
you.
the others? Kaushalya? Vishaka? Can you speak? Maybe you are not ready to switch on the camera, huh? But you can speak. Yes?
And I'm Vishaka. I'm from Candy. I'm teaching at a government school.
Okay. Iresha? Yes, Kaushalya?
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
I'm Miresha. I'm from the Polonnaru district.
Really? Where about?
I'm working at the Gautala Primary School.
Okay, right. You all are teachers of English or you teach some other subjects as well? What do you
Good
say?
evening, madam.
Huh?
I'm Kaushalya. Good evening, madam. I'm Kaushalya.
I'm
teaching at government school, teaching English.
English, right? Okay, there's Mafasa, then Nimasha. But anyway, I can see you all are very young and you all are energetic and I think, yes, Mafasa.
I'm from Mavanella. I am an SPS officer, madam.
Isil?
I am in principal service.
Principal service. Okay, good. You are not
Yeah.
teaching in a classroom nowadays, or you just supervise?
No, madam.
Only
Yeah.
supervise. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, nice to meet you all. And we are going to study a subject called educational philosophy, right? And you have studied some other professional subjects so far? Or this is the first subject? What do you see? I can't remember anyway the timetable of yours. What are the subjects you have studied with us? I mean, with the campus?
Language and linguistics.
Mm-hmm.
Psychology, educational psychology.
Okay.
Education and
Education
technology.
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 And education measurements and evaluations.
Oh, right. Very good. Yes.
No, we haven't.
What are the other subjects? That's all so far. Okay, right. Then I think you have discussed some subjects, and you all know as teachers, we need all these subjects, right? Why? We need all these subjects to become a teacher. That means we don't have to impart knowledge. Actually, we have to prepare learning situations, and then not only that, we have to do a lot of work in the classroom. You know, by now you all are teachers, you do a lot in the classroom, right? Before teaching, you learn psychology. Before teaching, you have to identify the students, and you have to measure their performance. That's why you learn measurement and evaluation. Like that, you have to study all these. We call them professional subjects. That means we need these subjects for the profession, right? Our subject today is educational philosophy, right? Now we have 16. All right. I'll share. Just okay, I think you all can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yes. Now, the subject is educational philosophy, right? Or philosophy and education. So first of all, we should understand what do you mean by philosophy? What do you mean by education? And now today I focus on specially branches of philosophy, and why we learn philosophy, and how they started the subject or the concept philosophy, right? We have to explore especially the connection between philosophy and educational practices. Okay? Right. Now, the relationship between philosophy and education, now every academic discipline has its own philosophy. Now you said you started learning psychology, and you started learning educational measurement and evaluation. Then they are everywhere, because students learn science at school, students learn English. So all these aspects we have its philosophy. Then when we think of the whole system, the whole system of education in any country, anywhere, in any school, and maybe under different regimes, different governments. Planning and practice. That means we have to plan the system of education and we put into practice. Then these things are influenced by philosophy of education, right? That's why we think that we need to learn philosophy of education, right? Now, in this lesson, the objectives are define the term philosophy, explain the features of philosophy, describe the different branches of philosophy. Right. Now, I think you all know. Now, you all write objectives of a lesson. Right? Maybe you write specific objectives, or maybe you use the term learning outcomes. What do you expect from them? If you say there should be learning outcomes, what do you mean by that? Huh? Can anybody tell me? If you write, have you written lesson plans? Have you written lesson plans for your, maybe for your teaching practice, and maybe if there are supervision sessions from maybe from the zonal office or the College of Education, training centers, university or the campus? Huh?
Yes, yes.
You have
Yes, ma'am.
written. Yeah. Then what do you mean by the term objectives or the learning outcomes or specific objectives of a lesson?
Ma'am, as example, when we are teaching according to the life cycle after the lesson, children can tell about what is life cycle and how it's happening as an outcome.
That's right. Yes, yes. That means what the students achieve from the lesson, right? Throughout the lesson, you organize different activities by them, maybe engaging in the activities. The child, the student will be able to discuss or describe the life cycle, right? Like that, for example. Now here, you should be able to define the term philosophy, explain the features of philosophy, and describe the different branches of philosophy. So please try to get the maximum out of this discussion, okay? Right, now we have to look for what is philosophy. First of all, now our topic today is the relationship between education and philosophy. But first of all, we should know what we mean by the term philosophy. Right. Philosophy comes from a Greek term. Right? The two Greek words, philos and sophia, means love of wisdom. Okay? Now, you know, wisdom has a broad meaning here. Maybe you can say knowledge plus its implications, right? And you know, love means you can just go for love, friendship, or affection, wisdom or knowledge. Then once we combine philosophia or philosophy, means love of wisdom, right? And if we try to get the deep meaning or the core meaning, you can just go for philosophy as a discipline, right? Please try to understand philosophy as a discipline. You know, philosophy speaks about the truth, and especially the truth about the existence. Then philosophy discusses knowledge, values, reason, mind, and language, especially driven by a deep desire to understand and gain wisdom, gain knowledge. Okay? So all these things are the components or the ingredients of the term philosophy as a discipline, right? Please remember that. So you all have to study further, explore the word further, and try to get at the maximum meaning of it, right? Because you know you have to understand the term fully, then only you will be able to discuss educational philosophy. Right. Some more ideas, some more definitions, some more descriptions about the term philosophy. You know, we can understand it indicates fundamental beliefs, basic beliefs and principles that we accept in the society. Right? Now, in every society, there are beliefs. And any education setup or any task, we have some principles. Based on the principles only, we have to work like that. And as teachers, please understand the difference between this principle and PRINCIPAL principles at school. Okay? Right. Then the next one. If you have any problem, if you want to ask any question, you please feel free to ask any question, or you can send me questions through the chat box, right? I too want some of your suggestions and ideas to the chat box, and I will send some through that, okay? Yes. Philosophy explores fundamental questions about existence, knowledge, values, truth, beauty, law, justice, reason, mind, and language. Everywhere, these things are repeated. What we mean by philosophy, there's a relationship between our existence and the knowledge. And there are some other avenues, other paths, other ideas like values, truth, beauty, law, justice, language, etc. Right? Then the next idea is important. Now, we always tell us there should be a philosophy. When you speak to each other, what's the philosophy behind it? Like that, we speak to each other. Then, philosophy is a guide for living. That's important for everyone because the issues it addresses are basic and universal, determining the course we take in life, right? Because you know, it addresses the basic issues, okay? Basic issues and universal issues, common to everyone, okay? Then we can just say that all the aspects of human life, all our activities are influenced and governed by philosophical consideration. That means you understand that you speak about individual differences, right? Now, if you speak about identifying children, there are different types of children. You have to identify them well before teaching, right? So then they act differently. And as teachers, you all are different, right? There are individual differences. One reason is this: every teacher, every individual has his or her own philosophy, right? his or her life is guided by his philosophy, influenced by it, and then manage everything related to his or her life. Okay? Right. Some more ideas about the term philosophy. I told you that, now you have to define the word philosophy, right? You can get all these ideas and you can build up your own definition, description of the word philosophy, right? According to Oxford Collins Scoville Dictionary, it says that there are two meanings given, so try to understand both. Philosophy is the study or creation of theories about basic things, such as the nature of existence, the nature of knowledge, thought, or about how people should live, the nature of our existence at the same time, about how we should live, right? Then that's philosophy, okay? The study or the creation of theories about how people should live, right? The theory is about the nature of existence, the nature of knowledge, right? Then the next one, philosophy is a particular theory that someone has about how to live or how to deal with a particular situation. Sometimes it's really difficult for us to identify people, understand people. But whenever something happens, then only you can observe people's reactions. Maybe two different individuals react differently, respond differently. Why? They all have their theory, their philosophy, right? According to what they think, according to what they have studied so far, according to the knowledge they have, according to how they think, they act differently. So we have to understand that, because that's the theory. That's the theory of a person. So then it's easy for us to understand without asking or without expecting the same response from everyone. It will never happen. People respond differently. People understand differently. People, analyze a question differently. Different people, maybe different individuals among you, analyze the same question differently. So then it is very important as teachers, right? Every teacher should understand the theories related to everyone's philosophy, right? When we speak further about philosophy, the history of philosophy, right? Yes, I think you all have heard that there are Greek philosophers, ancient philosophers, like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. And there are some other thinkers like John Dewey. And then there are understandings, there are ideas about the history of philosophy, because it goes back 1,000 years, right? Thousands of years. Therefore, we can understand from the ancient Greek philosophy, right? It starts with ancient Greek philosophy, And there were influential thinkers, influential philosophers. There were thinkers or educational philosophers like Rousseau. And then there are some more, and we'll discuss them in detail later, right? Please understand now, throughout the human history, right? Throughout the history of the term philosophy, the study philosophy, it had an impact on various aspects of our life, various subjects we study, right? Various activities of human life. For example, you can say science, politics, and ethics. Okay? Now we study different subjects. You know, in the school curriculum, we plan the school curriculum according to the philosophical ideas, right? Yeah, there's a message. What's it? Gayani Kaushalya, you send a message? Right. Right. You think that Gayani, we did the same lesson earlier? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Then you are the same batch that I did this lesson with?
We haven't done, madam.
Huh?
We are new to this and we haven't done earlier this.
Right. Okay. Then how Gayani has got the PowerPoint and she has done the lesson? Some of you have not done the lesson, right? Yes?
Yes, madam.
Madam, we have studied earlier with you.
Who's that, Gayani?
No, it's not me, madam. It's another one.
Who's that?
Madam, I am Azana.
Asana, right. Okay. Then there are some people who didn't do this. Who are they? Because, you know, I was asked to do this lesson. I asked them whether I have to do the same lesson or not. Then they said, yes, you have to do the same lesson. Right?
We didn't do it, ma'am.
You are from a different batch?
We are from 25 batch, miss.
Gayani, what is your batch?
We also didn't do it, madam.
We are from 24, madam.
24 and 25 together here, right?
Yes, ma'am, I feel.
Okay, how many of you are in from the 24 batch? I can say two now, Gayani and Asna or somebody, right? Others are from a new batch, right?
I think, ma'am, yes, most of them in
Yes.
25 batch.
Yeah, majority. Then, oh yeah, if you are from 24 batch, send me a message now, quickly. I think I have to do another session with 24 batch, right? Because majority is from the 25 batch, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Gayani, how did you join this group anyway?
They have asked us to join this, madam. That's why we joined today.
Okay, right. Gayani, can you remember who's that Azana? One Asana spoke to me earlier. Who's Azana or Asna? Only two, as I think, Gayani. Is that two of you?
I think it's
Yeah. Anusha Basingha, what's your batch?
25th batch, madam.
25th. Jayakala, 25th.
Yes, ma'am, 25th.
You haven't done this. Vishaka? Vishaka,
I'm also 25th batch.
25th. Gayani, what can you do? Just, I think you did the exam as well, right?
No, madam, we didn't do the exam.
Uh-huh.
Just it doesn't matter, madam. Sorry
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
mistake,
No,
guys.
it's okay. Luckily, you told me, then I can discuss with them and then I can organize. So just they have to schedule another session for you all for the next semester. Like I sent them a message to send me the schedule, but I did. Does anybody have the schedule?
Madam, you may continue the lesson, madam. It doesn't matter.
Right. Okay, Gayani, no. You don't worry because luckily you told me. Otherwise, I don't know both batches are here or two of you from the previous batch are here. Like because I can tell them and I can sort this out and I'll help you. Right, Gayani? We'll
Okay, madam.
start your batch. I mean your lessons later. If you don't mind, you may just join us today and then revise what
Okay,
you have learned or just whatever you like. You can leave if you want or just be with us. Just enjoy. Yeah.
Okay, madam. Sorry.
Thank you. Don't say sorry. Thank you for telling me because that may be a mistake from their part, right? Okay. Because that's how we all make mistakes, and by mistake they might have sent you the link and the schedule, right?
Yeah, ma'am, I
Okay.
share the schedule as well in our chat group. This is 25th batch schedule. They share with us.
Okay, how can I get it now?
I shared in the chat group, ma'am. You can download or save it to your computer.
Okay, I'll get it. All right, 3 messages are here. Okay, thank you. Right. Don't worry, Gaini. Okay. Now, the history of philosophy, there are different philosophers in the past, in the ancient era, and in the medieval period and the modern period, like that, there are different philosophers, and we study their philosophy and we make use of their philosophical ideas for our system of education. All the countries are using their ideas, right? Then, definitions of philosophy. Okay, now we are going to, can anybody just tell me, according to you, so far, according to our discussion, can you define philosophy now? Can anybody just tell me? Just send me to the chat box if you like, quickly. According to what we discussed so far, what do you understand from the term philosophy? Can anybody send a message to the chat box? No? I didn't get any message from you. Why? Okay. Then let's study some philosophers' ideas on the term philosophy, right? I told you that even you all know, we look at the same thing differently according to our point of view. In the same way, they define philosophy differently, right? Now, according to Aristippus, right, in the ancient era, philosophy is the ability to feel at ease in any society. Okay? Right. The ability to feel at ease. So remember that if that is an ability according to him. Okay? Now they feel free to live in the society. So that means philosophy according to Aristippus. Okay? Then Aristotle, a great philosopher, he says that it is the science that investigates the nature of being as it is in itself, the nature of existence as it is. Okay? So it is the science that investigates something. What does it investigate? The nature of the existence, the nature of being. Okay? So that's the science of it. Then philosophy is the critical reviewing of the familiar things. John Dewey. John Dewey says it is the critical reviewing or critical thinking of the maybe the familiar things, right? Then philosophy is the science of sciences, right? Earlier we spoke about the way we investigate something. Science that investigates the nature, right? Nature of being, nature of existence. But here he says the science of sciences. Then philosophy is to be studied according to Bertrand Russell, right? It is to be studied not for the sake of any definite answers to its questions. Right. That gives us the idea, right? If there's a question, there cannot be definite answers, right? At times, but not always. We have to say, but philosophy is to be studied not for the sake for a definite answer. Right? That means philosophy has different aspects, but rather for the sake of the questions themselves. He says not for the answers, but for the questions. Why? These questions enlarge, enhance our conception of what is possible, right? What we can do, but above all, because of the mind also is rendered great and becomes capable, right? We become great and we become capable of that union with the universe which constitutes its highest goal. Okay? Now, you know there's the universe and we become very capable. Capable of what? Capable of the union. Get together and we can get together and live. It is the goal of the universe, right? So then we can understand philosophy itself, it doesn't give answers. It has questions, right? Those questions enhance our conceptions. Please remember that. And those conceptions, those ideas, how we conceive ideas like that, then it makes the people possible for living in the society, right? Unite with the universe, unite with the world, rest of the world and live. That's according to Bertrand Russell. Now, Okay, sorry, I didn't see. Someone has sent me the definition. Philosophy is that how we live and deal with the life. Okay, yes, how we live, how we deal with the life, how we look at the life. Yes, that's correct. Right. Now, so far we discussed how we have to define the term philosophy. Right? Then in that lesson, I think in those ideas, the ideas we discussed earlier, we saw different aspects of philosophy, right? So once we defined the word philosophy, we looked at different angles, okay? Now here we see from the dictionary, you got different ideas, right? And some other definitions, you got something different to the dictionary meaning, but we can understand, we can accept those ideas because these things are different angles of the term philosophy. Okay? Right. Now, as a teacher, you should be able to define philosophy according to your own idea, your own understanding. Just like somebody has sent me his or her definition like that, you all should be able to define the term philosophy according to your point of view. Right? Philosophy can guide your life. Philosophy can change the way you think. Philosophy can influence the way you live your life. Right? Like that, you can define it. Now, features of philosophy, right? Then features of philosophy, how do you understand that? So, the first one, we can discuss the first one. Can anybody just explain this a little bit? Philosophy is about life and the universe, which are often held uncritically a set of views or beliefs, right? It is about life and the universe. Please understand that, now you can just, now if you, for example, you can just think of teaching methodology. If it is teaching methodology, we look at the term methodology in different angles, right? Or we can divide it into different sections, right? Methodology, method, and then you go for techniques, then strategies, right? Like that. In philosophy, we have different aspects. So one is, it is about life and the universe, life and the whole world where we live. And then it is a set of views or beliefs, okay? A set of views or beliefs among people. Then another idea, another aspect of philosophy is, it is a process, right? It's a process. Our most deeply held conceptions and beliefs of reflecting on and criticizing on. What do you mean by the term reflect on something? You know how to criticize. That's easy. And most of the people in our society, they are very clever in criticizing, right? At times, now you can understand how people's philosophy should be developed, or they should learn philosophy, they should study philosophy, because nowadays you can understand people criticize things. but we understand some of them without getting all the necessary information, without looking at all the aspects of the problem, right? Or without understanding the situation, they start criticizing, right? So, reflecting, what do you mean by the term reflecting? People criticize differently. Some people criticize maybe with a positive idea. Some people criticize with a negative idea. You know, destructive criticism and productive criticism, right? Once you just now there are principals and you know some of you are experienced teachers. Once you see a child's performance, you can think of giving them positive comments. That means not destructive criticism. You have to give productive criticism. That means even though the child goes wrong, we ask the teacher to give them a feedback, right? Even the very bad thing, if you have noticed a very bad thing, you can give a very carefully, you can give an idea without giving them destructive criticism. People give destructive criticism. Why? That's their philosophy. Okay, that's the way they think. That's the way they look at the problems and look at people, and without knowing the person's situation. And as teachers, we say that we have to think of the sympathy and empathy, right? So then all these are necessary for the teacher, okay? Then reflecting means you reflect on your lesson, right? Now, as a teacher, you teach the lesson and at the end you reflect on the lesson, right? That means you think back. You think of the whole process. Maybe you started the lesson at 8 o'clock. You stop the lesson at maybe around 8:40, right? 8 to 8:40 is the lesson. And then by 8:40, you have to reflect on the lesson, right? You can just identify whether I achieved the target. That means whether I achieved the objectives. That means whether the students reach the target, right? And then whether everything went smoothly, there were problems or not. And if there were problems, what can I do for minimizing such problems in my next lesson, right? Like that, you can reflect on your lesson. If the lesson went well, and now you can just think of doing the lesson better than this, right? Even though today's lesson is okay, but I have to do it better, right? Now, today the students were very noisy and they disturbed the class like that. Then you can understand, okay, why these people disturbed me? What happened to them? Or what was the reason? Like that, you think, and then you can make suggestions to yourself to minimize such problems in the next lesson. In the same way, you reflect on something. Okay? Right? Then it is, now philosophy is also, it is a process. Our most deeply held conceptions, that means our ideas and beliefs of reflecting on and criticizing. It is very important for teachers and every individual, right? Why? Our conceptions and our beliefs on reflecting and criticizing. So therefore, we have to be very particular, very careful, right? These things are necessary for teachers, okay? Then, it is rational attempt to look at the world as a whole. Right. Philosophy is a rational attempt. What do you mean by the word term rational of attempt? Right? That means you should be reasonable. Right? There should be a reason. There should be a cause to look at the world as a whole. Okay, the whole universe. You have to look at the whole universe, okay, and understand it. And you are part of the universe. And who are the other components, or what are the other components like? But you can just synthesize everything and look at the universe as a whole, okay? Then it is the logical analysis of language and clarification of the meaning of words and concepts. Yes, I think most of you are teachers of English, and maybe you teach some other subjects as well, right? Then logical analysis of language. Now, you know, when we are teaching English, you sometimes look for the word meaning of something. Even our students, children might come and ask you what is the meaning of this particular word, right? But you have a logic to say that word has a meaning. That's true. You can give the word meaning as well. But once you analyze it logically, the word performs differently in different contexts, right? That correct idea should be there within the teacher's mind, right? Now, if you just label the words like maybe adjectives, adverbs, and then what else? Nouns, verbs, right? Some words, for example, you can study the word close, close. Some words perform differently in different sentences. You have your close friends and you can close the door. They are two different ideas, but you use the same word. So, like that, you have to think logically when you think of the language, right? And there should be clarifications of meaning of words, as I told you, right? Meaning of words. Now, some people give one meaning or they take one meaning and some other person might take another. But you know, we have to get at the appropriate or the most appropriate meaning depending on the context, right? Now, that should be understood by us, right? So then that's also very important when we study philosophy. That means the language, the analysis of the language and clarifications given, and those concepts are different. All these things, meanings of words and meanings of concepts, right? How we get at the meaning of a word. Like that, they are important. So, it is the logical analysis of language and the clarification of words and concepts. So, understand that. Number 5, philosophy is a group of perennial problems, main problems that interest people and for which philosophers always have sought answers. All right? You know, these things are now the problems. These problems are there, and philosophy makes interest the people, makes them interested in. Right? Now, we philosophers always have sought the answers. There are some problems in the society. people are interested in getting the answer, and then philosophers have sought the answers to the questions or the problems. Therefore, we have to study philosophy. So then, after studying these things, you can understand philosophy has an impact on different aspects of human life. For example, their language, right? How they live, how they look at problems, right? How they reflect on their life, how they reflect on what they do, how they criticize people. All these things are important, but we have to understand they are features of philosophy. Okay? Right. Is there any problem so far? No? Oh, yes. Any problem?
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am. No,
Okay, right. Yeah, if there's a problem, if you want to ask a question, you can send or just tell me or just send it to the chat box, right? Yes. Then, right. We had our next topic is branches of philosophy. Before that, I just, with the features of philosophy, I just want you to think for a while, right? Because we studied the word meaning, right? The dictionary meaning, how the word is, I mean, the etymology of the word, then how the word is coined at the very beginning, how the word came into being, like that we studied the term philosophy. And you all are teachers, and we can see the features of philosophy, right? Then I just give you a small task now. You can send me your ideas to the chat box. Just one or two ideas, or just tell me. Now, based on our discussion so far, do we need the philosophy? That means if I just say every teacher should have his or her own philosophy. Or I can say every individual should have his or her own philosophy. What can you say? Right? Quickly think of your answer. Why should I develop my personal philosophy as a teacher? Okay. What is the benefit for me to have my personal philosophy as a teacher? Quickly send me your answers now. Right? Yeah, think of it. Now you know what philosophy is, what we mean by the term philosophy, and the philosophical ideas of some great thinkers. And after that, we should know why should we learn philosophy? Why should we have my own philosophy? Right? Maybe for your personal life or for you as a teacher. we get one idea from Sashi to better understand the children and help them help them to follow the correct way, as well as having helpful when having parents meeting. Okay, yeah, that's a very good example by Sashi, because you are conducting meetings, parents meetings, and then when you speak to them, you should be very careful, and you have to think philosophically and give comments on the students and understand the students' differences. Maybe one student is clever at mathematics, but not very clever at English, like that. Then the way you word it is very important, right? If you think that I should word with these ideas correctly, I should word these comments correctly, that will be more effective. If you speak about the negative aspects of the child on the spot, maybe in front of all the people, then there will be negative results, right? You sometimes harm the child's mentality, and their parents might be embarrassed, right? Like that, you have to think very carefully, and you make use of these ideas there. Okay. Philosophy is that how we live and deal with life. Yes, yes. The way you live and the way you deal with different situations shows your philosophy, right? Then you have to be very carefully, maybe you have to carefully select the method, the way you live and deal with your life, your situations. Yeah, to take correct decisions in the teaching learning process in the classroom. Yes, all these things are necessary for the teaching learning process, right? The ideas we discussed here, you may make use of now when assessing the students, right? You all know that once you plan your lessons, you have different steps in a lesson. Maybe step 1, step 2, step 3, like that. Right? You try to achieve your objectives one by one, and you design different activities. First of all, maybe you explain things and then ask the students to engage in the activity. And after that, you have to assess the students after each activity, right? After each activity, you assess whether they got the correct idea or not, whether they are able to do whatever you expected or not. And then you have to give them correct feedback, right? There you are going to assess, means you just check whether they are capable enough or they achieved something from the lesson. And after that, you give them the feedback, means that's not a test, right? You actually correct the students. So then in the teaching learning process, you have to decide where should I assess the students, right? That means after each step, at the end of each step. And how should I correct them? How should I assess them? And how should I have to tell them whether they are correct or whether they are incorrect? And you have to organize group activities. Now, as teachers, you should understand that we don't have to just idle once they are engaging in group activities. The philosophy should be you have to assign the group activity, then you have to monitor them well, and then assess their performance, and you may guide them to correct if there are mistakes, right? That means you give them the feedback. So you can understand, you can use these ideas in each step of the classroom process, classroom teaching, learning process. Okay. Yes, Nimasha, to get the understand students, yeah, to get the correct understanding of the students' perspectives and behaviors to improve results. Improve results means, I think, improve their performance, improve their examination results, right? Like that, yes. You have to understand students well, what they need. You know that we are asked to plan our lessons according to the needs of the children, according to the interests of the children. That means some children might like to go out and learn, right? Maybe in an open classroom. Some students like to be in the classroom, sit and learn. So then you can identify their interests, and depending on the situations, you may give them the opportunities, right? You should not be always in the class. You should not be always in the open classroom. So like that, you have to identify their ways of thinking, their perspectives, right? And their behavior, especially nowadays, the children's behavior is a serious problem for each and every teacher. It's really difficult to correct their behavior at times, and their behavior disturbs the lessons. Therefore, you should, first of all, you should not blame the behavior, right? You have to understand their behavior, plus you have to inquire why they behave like this. Maybe in my lesson only, or in all the lessons they behave like this, right? Therefore, you can get an idea. Then only you have to think of how should I correct their behavior. Maybe you can give them positive comments, right? You can appreciate whenever they do something good. Like that, teachers should think of your policy. That means based on a correct philosophy. Okay? Right. Next idea by Asma. To improve consistency and confidence and supports professional growth. Yes, that's about yourself, right? That means about the teacher. Teachers are eternal students. You should understand that, right? You have to be an eternal student, right? That means you have to think of your professional development always, because the situations will be different and new technologies are coming in. Children's behaviors will be different, right? The generations differences, and they come from different backgrounds. Their parents' problems are different. So like that, we have to understand, and you can get your development. That means if you are following a study course like this, right? And nowadays, with the development of the technology, you get the online lessons, online study courses. That's actually very convenient for you all, right? But as a teacher, you should develop your philosophy to get the maximum out of all these discussions, right? You know, the common problem of the online lessons, right? This online mode is the lack of response from the learners. Learners do not participate actively in the lessons, right? However, as a learner here, as a student, you should try to get at the maximum. Once you teach your students, influence them, ask them to get the maximum out of your lesson. So like that, Fasma's idea is to improve consistency and confidence. I think she means consistency means your way of teaching, or maybe you treat everyone equally. And then confidence is there. Confidence should be there. The teacher should be confident in the classroom, right? You should be equipped with necessary things in the classroom. For example, if you are teaching a grammar lesson, then you have to think of the grammar item you are going to teach, right? You are going to teach maybe prepositions today, but you can't teach all the prepositions in one lesson. And you have to think of the student's level. And then there should be a limit. And then think of examples. Maybe you can take examples from the classroom itself. And you have to explore maybe grade 11, grade 12, 13 students. Then you should be able to explore the possible questions, explore more and more examples, right? Explore more and get the examples necessary depending on the students' inquiries, students' questions. Because first of all, before teaching, you understand the students. Like that, the teacher can develop the confidence, and then teacher can engage in professional growth if she develops his or her own philosophy. Teachers should learn philosophy to develop students' critical thinking and self-understanding. Yes, because some of the students are narrow-minded and they get excited, maybe they get angry, and they don't think of different angles of the same situation, and sometimes they show the dominating nature. Like that, the critical thinking is necessary for their life, and self-understanding also important. Yes, these are different aspects of the use of philosophy. You all can learn all these ideas, right? Now we discussed different points from different people. All are necessary for a teacher, right? You can't discard any of those ideas. That's why I want everyone's idea, right? Everyone's idea from the class, because all these ideas are important. And you might understand, you should understand, okay, that's also important. This is also important for a teacher. So we need all these ideas, right? Then yes, Jayakala, right? Yes, to know students' environment, to do the counseling with the help of counseling teacher. Yeah, that's another aspect of classroom teaching learning process. Not only as a teacher, you have to not only impart knowledge, but also do as the role of a counselor at times. If the situation is more serious that you can handle or the normal classroom teacher cannot handle, then you have to contact a counselor or counseling teacher, or teacher counselors are there in some schools, right? Yes, that's also important. I think you all learn the subject guidance and counseling. That's important for you to identify children's backgrounds, right? Yes, which background are they coming from, right? And the problems they face, and their needs are fulfilled or not, and how they interact with the others, maybe how they maintain human relationships, like that. The teacher has to observe each and every child in the classroom. And there might be children who need counseling. There might be children who do not need counseling, but you have to observe and change a little bit, right? Like that. That is another aspect of important role of the teacher. Okay. It helps, Kaushalya, it helps to consider the ethical and moral involvement of educating students. Yeah. Another important idea, consider the ethical and moral involvement of, yes, that means from the teacher's part. Teachers should develop the ethics, right? And moral support should be there. So the teachers respect the ethics relevant to the classroom. At the same time, the moral development of the student and moral support from the teacher. Then educating means you are teaching the students, right? When teaching the students, you have to think of the classroom ethics. Yeah, at times we can have our classroom policies. As a teacher, once you develop your own philosophy, you can develop some classroom policies. Then it's easy for you all to get the students' active participation to the lesson and maintain discipline in the classroom and manage the classroom well, right? That means you can just ask the students, everyone to be there before the teacher goes to the class, right? That's your policy. No one can get late to the class. Like that, you can have some policies. And the other thing is, yeah, if they have a problem, they should directly speak to the teacher, not shouting to each other, not speaking to each other like that. You always remind them of your policies, and they will little by little change their wrong behavior, right? They will change their behavior and they will start following your instructions. Now, if you want them to be quiet in the classroom, if you speak to students, if you explain the subject content to the students, everyone should listen and look at the teacher. Maybe look at the blackboard or the whiteboard. But you know, in some classrooms, we observe that the teacher explains a lot. Some students are on their own. Some students are speaking to each other. Some students are doing various sorts of things. Why? Is that the fault of the students? Huh? No. The teacher should have the philosophy, okay, right? this is the time for the students to listen to me. And now this is the time for me to speak to everyone in the classroom. Everyone should listen to me because everyone in the classroom is equally important. Not the people who are very bright, who are always listening to me. No, the people maybe especially at the back rows, and there are the fringe areas, maybe the sides, right? And those places are very important, the back rows and the sides. We call them the fringe areas, easily neglected by the teacher. So then teacher should focus her attention, maintain eye contact with everyone in the classroom, and till they be silent, the teacher should be silent. Remain silent. Why? If they are not silent, if you start speaking to them, then they might get the idea, okay, we don't have to be silent, and then teacher would say whatever she wants. No, if you wait, if you show that you wait for them, and they will definitely be silent whenever you need. At the same time, you need them to speak, get them to speak. Get everyone the opportunity at the maximum, right? So you can distribute questions evenly, not favoring anybody. Okay, like that. All these ideas should be utilized in the classroom teaching learning process. All these ideas are important to have the teachers on philosophy, especially regarding the classroom teaching learning process. Right. Any other ideas that I didn't read? Is there any idea I didn't read and commented? No. Hmm? Hello. Is there any suggestions, any answers sent to the chat box? Not yet. Okay, right. Please understand that every teacher has to learn educational philosophy. Especially every teacher should have a philosophy. That means every teacher should have his or her own philosophy, right? Now you understand there are different features, different aspects of philosophy, and we may use these aspects, these features in different situations in our lives, in different situations in the classroom teaching learning process. Okay? Right. Now, let's move on to the next section. Right. Branches of philosophy. Right. Now, traditionally, it was divided into branches, including metaphysics, epistemology, axiology, and they focused, or each section focused, or each branch focused on specific aspects of philosophical idea, right? Now you are at the very beginning, we understood or we discussed that philosophy means a set of questions, right? It doesn't give you answers, it forwards some questions, inquiries. Okay, that means always there's no the answer, but there might be different answers and there might be different aspects, right? Yes. Then we have to learn metaphysics, epistemology, and axiology. Right. Then we don't try to learn much about them, but you all have to study them in a nutshell, right? Yes. If you say metaphysics, it deals with the nature of reality or existence, right? Metaphysics means the nature of existence, nature of reality, nature of the world, okay? Then epistemology focuses on knowledge, nature of knowledge and how the knowledge or how these knowledge, I mean, different aspects of knowledge are attained, that means imparted or gained and evaluated, right? Epistemology refers to how knowledge is imparted, how the knowledge is, that means the nature of knowledge, and how to evaluate it, right? Then axiology is the philosophical study of values, right? That means in every society, there are accepted norms, accepted values, right? It deals with issues of value in the areas of ethics, social, political, philosophy, and aesthetics. Right. Now, every country has its own culture. Every community has their own accepted ethics. And if we think critically, if you think philosophically, we can't say this culture is better than the other. My culture is better than the other. No, we have to respect each other's cultures, right? Especially in a plural society like Sri Lanka, we have to think of our ethics. One is respecting other people's cultures. We respect their language, we respect their religion, we respect their traditions, customs, etc. Right? So then there are social ethics which are very important for each and every individual, and you know almost all the philosophers emphasize on them. Then social and political philosophy. You know, political philosophy that influences a lot in a country like Sri Lanka, right? Then once you see or once you observe our society, our country, you can understand that people have different philosophical ideas. That means different political ideologies, right? They work according to their own political ideology, which some other people criticize, right? We can't say this is better than the other, but you know, each and every ideology has their own ups and downs, positive and negative aspects. Therefore, as an individual, as a citizen of the country, you can just select which one is maybe reasonable for me to accept, or we can refuse some of the political ideas, or think of the country, the democracy, and then how it is practiced in the country. Like that, as a country, we can think as a citizen in a country. But your own political philosophy might be something different to majority, or something different to maybe your family members, maybe your classmates, maybe your colleagues, huh? Like that, everyone has their own political philosophy. And then the social philosophy, how to live in the society, how to interact with the people in the society, how to respond to different situations, and like that, that is also very important. Why aesthetics? What do you mean by that? Aesthetics. We learn aesthetics. Now, for example, in school, some of you might be teaching music, maybe Western music, or you can just teach Oriental dancing. You can just teach art or drama and theater. Like that, we have subjects also at schools in the school curriculum. Why do we have all these aesthetics? We need them for healing the human mind. That's one reason. And then entertain people and add variety, right? And then relaxation. There are number of objectives, number of goals through aesthetics, right? Then as a teacher, you can analyze, or you can just pay your attention whether we get the expected result from teaching aesthetics in the classroom. And when we are teaching aesthetics, whether the benefit goes to the learner, the benefit goes to the society, and can we give them the mental relaxation, right? Like that, there are a lot of questions come to people's mind, right? So you have to analyze all these ideas relevant to philosophy, right? And please try to understand these branches of philosophy, and then you can understand at times there's an interrelationship, or they are relevant to each other, or there are overlaps, right? Now, metaphysics deals with the nature of existence, whereas epistemology, nature of knowledge, and then the axiology, values. So then when we think of values, we have to impart correct idea, correct knowledge on the values, right? And then the teaching in a school, teaching in the classroom, you can speak about the nature of reality in the classroom, or you can understand it as a teacher, right? So like that, you have to understand the interrelationship and relevance of each other. So because they are the components of philosophy. That's why we call them branches of philosophy, right? Each one focuses on a specific aspect of philosophy. That's very important for a student. Right. Interconnection among branches. Right. Now, before we learn interconnection, I want everyone to give your idea or just search. Maybe you can use your mobile phone or any dictionary you have. The meaning of metaphysics, the meaning of epistemology, the meaning of axiology, right? In the way we studied philosophy, you have to study all three. Quickly send me your ideas means send me your research findings, because you can search on internet. Search in the dictionary, or maybe you can use your mobile phone. What we mean by all three. Earlier I discussed, but I want you yourself have to explore the meanings. Then only you will understand it fully. I'll give you 2 minutes for that. Quickly study it and send it to me to the chat box. Some of you earlier also, some of you sent and some others kept quiet. I don't know why. Maybe only the equipment is with us and not the individual, not the learner. Okay? Why is that? Just try to send me quickly. This is very important when you are learning such concepts. Even in your classroom, you have to give the students to explore and get things done by themselves. Without spoon feeding, you have to ask the students, all right, you can turn to this page and get at the meaning. Right. Sashi sent me the idea. Okay. Sashi says metaphysics is a branch of philosophy, deals with the fundamental nature of reality and existence. Okay, good. Explores questions that go beyond the physical sciences. Right? Yes. Go beyond the physical existence, right? Such as what is being, what is nature of reality, time, space, causality, etc. Nature of objects, identity and change. Is there a God or something beyond the material world? Yes. Okay. Nature of reality and existence explores questions, go beyond the physical. Yeah. Metaphysics. Right. Send me some more. Then, from your version, the others also can learn. That means you exchange your findings. That's all. Others can't get at the meaning. Right. Somebody can get at the meaning of epistemology. Now you know metaphysics is the study of the nature of reality and existence. Huh? If you repeat the same, then there's no need for you to study further and there's no need for you to have confusion. Right? In activities like these, I mean online sessions, you have to be active actually. Huh? Not just just being silent and listening, that's not enough. Metaphysics means branch of philosophy that deals with the first principle of things, including abstract concepts, okay, such as being, knowing, identity, time, and space. Okay, right. Epistemology. Study the nature, origin and limits of human knowledge. That's right, yeah. Now you can understand the metaphysics about the nature of existence. Now here, epistemology, nature of knowledge. Okay, origin, limits. Nature, origin and limits of human knowledge. And essentially the study of knowledge acquisition. All right. Yes, essentially it seeks the answer. Seeks to answer the question, where does knowledge come from? Okay, right. Then how we get the knowledge, right? According to yes, Vasana. How we get the knowledge, how we know what we know. Okay, right. Yes, it's relevant to the knowledge. Very good, right. Theory of knowledge, epistemology. We can distinguish truth from the belief and opinion, right? That's related to knowledge. Right, metaphysics. Now you know, once you mention the term metaphysics, reality and existence, okay? Epistemology, knowledge, study of knowledge. Axiology here, values, okay? Nature of values, right? Values including what is good, what is bad, what is beautiful, all right, what is correct. Okay. Yeah. Some more ideas, please, quickly, without taking much time. Yes. Okay, then, right. Thank you for all your efforts. Don't be silent. Please, even though these are online sessions, everyone, please be active, right? Please respond to the teacher whenever you are in the class, and you know, as an adult, and this is adult education, we don't have to actually force you all. We can give you the freedom, but however, you all have to be in the lesson, right? That's important because you all spend a lot of time here, lot of effort, and then should get the maximum out of all these discussions, right? Yes. Now there are branches, and all these branches are interconnected. That means all these branches influence each other. Right. Then the examples are given here according to what I gave as the examples. Now, nature of reality impact the knowledge, because once you study the nature of reality, there should be knowledge. Right. Now, once again, Sachi senses axiology. Values include, right, okay. Then Avishaka's idea, study of values, and yeah, it explores with what people consider important, meaningful or worthwhile in life. And what people consider important, that means behavior and experiences. Okay, right. Yes, what they accept, correct. Yes, then metaphysical beliefs about the nature of reality impact. Epistemological inquiries about the knowledge. That means metaphysics. Again, we refer to knowledge. Then axiological consideration, always we have to think of the knowledge of values. People should develop the knowledge on values, right? And we have to think of metaphysics as well, because we have to get the correct shape of it, right? And there might be different, maybe different problems, and there might be, abstract concepts that we have to understand. And then we need exploration. That means we have to search things, right? So then all these things are interrelated. All these things influence each other. And as teachers, we should know there are branches of philosophy. Basically, we focused only on 3. There are more, but we focused our attention on metaphysics, epistemology, and axiology, and metaphysics related to the nature of the reality and the universe, right? And then the epistemology related to knowledge, and then the axiology thinks of the values, right? Then the reality, knowledge, values. Please try to remember the 3 words, or existence or reality, and the knowledge and values, right? All these are important for an individual, for a child, for a teacher. Okay, right. With this, I think I have to revise whatever we did today. Okay. Yes, thank you for your participation. And there's one, I can see one message in the chat box. Let's see what it is. Yes, Vishaka's message. Oh, no, after that. Yeah. Oh, okay. I always share the PowerPoint by the end of the lesson, and then you all will be able to study it further. At the same time, I include a lot of information on my slides. Why? I share it with you, and then you will be able to study it further, and you can just check with what we have discussed. And I didn't discuss each and every minor matter, right? And in philosophy, there's no the answer. There are different questions and there are different aspects. So, as you all gave me different ideas regarding philosophy, because why a teacher needs educational philosophy, like that, you can understand why we learn this subject. Okay, as you all know, we learn educational psychology, and you have to understand why we learn this subject and what is the use of learning psychology, especially a person, sorry, not psychology, philosophy, for a person. Why we learn philosophy? Why we learn philosophy as a teacher? And I told you every teacher should develop a personal philosophy. Why? You are the ones who are directly relevant, directly involved in the teaching learning process. Right? You work with children. Then you have to explore the things and then go to the classroom. You teach them and you can observe your students. Right? You have to think of achieving the objectives of your lesson. Right. Now think of the different objectives of a lesson, and then you have to, at the end of the lesson, you have to reflect on it and check whether your lesson is successful or not. Right? Now all these things are important for a teacher, and think of students' behavior, and you can just correct if there are wrong behavior patterns among students, and you have to conduct parents meetings, and then you have to address their associations, maybe language club and literary association, like that. Always your personal philosophy matters a lot. That you all have to understand, right? Yes. Then, if you have any question or any suggestion, you can send it to me to the chat box, or maybe you can ask the next day if you want, or you may ask it today, now itself, and then I'll try to, yes, I'll try to share this with you, the PowerPoint presentation as you have asked for. This is our first lesson, right? And please remember that every teacher should have his or her personal philosophy, right? And you should be able to, now remember everyone, you should be able to define the term philosophy according to your point of view, according to what you have gathered, what knowledge that you have gathered according to our discussions. Maybe you can explore different reading materials like that. And then you should be able to think of the three branches of philosophy. You have to be able to explain what they are, and at the same time you have to think of the interrelationship between the three branches, right? All these are important, and as a teacher we'll discuss that again. As a teacher, the teacher has to develop his or her personal philosophy. Right, now I am trying to share this PowerPoint. It's not yet done, don't know why. I can drag and drop, right? Okay, now, can anybody tell me you got it or not? You got
Yes,
the
ma'am.
PowerPoint?
Yeah,
Not yet, ma'am.
there is.
Some of you, yeah. Some of you have got it, right?
Yeah, it's downloaded, ma'am.
Okay. Any problem with anybody? PowerPoint? presentation? I can see with the green tick there. Now I think you can download it. If anybody can't see, just tell me now quickly. Right. I think you all got the PowerPoint presentation. And which is the next, when is the next lesson? Can anybody tell me? Philosophy. 8th Sunday? Is that 8th Sunday?
It's in 12.
12th.
Yeah, Thursday.
12th Thursday. Okay, right. We have enough time. Don't know. Right. I got it. Educational. Yeah. Then this is batch 25. I can see 12th. 12th. Right. Yes.
That's inclusive education, madam.
And 12th, we can have, can't we have both that day, right?
The same time also. We don't
Same time, yeah, there's an issue. I'll discuss that with him. Maybe according to what he told me, it should be 8 Sunday. Yeah, 8 Sundays. It's not mentioned here. 8 Sunday, right?
No, madam.
No.
12.
12th. Then 12th, we can't have the 2 lessons together, right? And then after that, we have 14th. Then 25th, right? And 28th. Okay. I'll speak to them and get this clarified, and regarding the 24th batch and what I have to do with 24th batch, like that. Don't worry too much about those things. I can sort them out. Okay. Most probably, I think your date for philosophy is 8th Sunday. Right? If we can't have it on Sunday, we'll postpone it to next month or so. Right? Yes. Is there any problem that you want me to do, or anything that you want to discuss, or anything that I have to change? Yes or no? No, only thing is that now you have to leave. It's almost, yeah, it's past 9:30. Okay, right. Then thank you for your cooperation and enthusiasm on studying. And yes, discuss all these things if you are meeting each other, or if you have your own study groups. At least study this material, I mean the PowerPoint presentation well, and come prepared for another discussion next day. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Bye. Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night, everyone.